Welcome back. I finally got Pi. Um, the ad blocking thing. We'll see how it works. Anyways, we got this video right here. I'll show you the name of the video. Alright, let me pull it up. Alright, this is Thunderbolts recap, complete history, everything you need to know before you watch the movie. I was gonna watch it with my friend this Saturday, but he going in on a church trip, so that's cool. Anyways, let's go.
Thunderbolts, from the 11 movies, over 21 episodes across 3 series, and even 1 special presentation of Disney Plus titles. Now, I know that seems like a lot, but Thunderbolts as a movie works well enough on its own that if you are not caught up on all of these shows, you're still gonna get everything and enjoy it. But I do think that watching this recap video will be helpful so that you can feel confident knowing that you're not missing anything about these characters' backstories. So yeah, it has been 4 very exhausting years since John Walker met Val on The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and Yelena last chatted with Red Guardian and Black Widow. Don't worry, I got you covered. A complete recap, a primer, a timeline, a cheat sheet, whatever you're gonna call it, I'm here to help. And the best way to support new rock stars is to grab something from our merch store, nerdriot.shop, like one of these new Thunderbolts-inspired designs, or our Fantastic Four Future Foundation shirt, or our Daredevil Josie's shirt. Okay, Thunderbolts is a story of a team of B Avengers. Yelena Belova, Florence Pugh, Red Guardian, David Harbour, Bucky Barnes, Sebastian Stan, John Walker, Wyatt Russell, Ava Star Ghost, Hannah John Kamen, and Taskmaster Antonia Dreykov, Olga Kurylenko, in some plot with Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, aka Val, Julia Louis-Dreyfus's shadowy CIA director, and newcomer Sentry, Bob Reynolds, played by Louis Pullman. As this story is tied to the MCU history of the Super Soldier program, let's break down the timeline from the start. Back in 1943 were the events of the 2011 film Captain America: The First Avenger. We meet Bucky Barnes, Steve Rogers' childhood friend from Brooklyn and fellow soldier in the US Army in World War II. Steve receives a super soldier serum and serves as a propaganda tool,
strong and brave, here to save the American way.
but springs into action when Bucky gets kidnapped and experimented on by Hydra. Steve and Bucky fight together alongside the Howling Commandos, but Bucky falls off a train and seems to die, and that's where he leaves the story. Meanwhile, Steve Rogers goes into the ice and gets thawed out in the present day, bringing us to 2012's Avengers, where Steve Rogers helps the other Avengers, including Tony Stark, Thor, Bruce Banner, Natasha Romanoff, and Clint Barton, to win the Battle of New York against Loki and the Chitauri, which popularizes the Avengers as Earth's mightiest heroes and turns Stark Tower into Avengers Tower. In 2014's Captain America: The Winter Soldier, we learned that Bucky Barnes did not die, but was actually recaptured by Hydra and given a Hydra cocktail of the super soldier serum, causing him to never age, and then mind-controlled with activation code words and turned into the Winter Soldier assassin with a metal arm who killed various targets throughout the 20th century. Bucky, as Winter Soldier, attacks Steve as Hydra moves to take over S.H.I.E.L.D. and the US military, but Steve and Bucky fight to a dramatic draw as Steve, Natasha, Sam Wilson, and Nick Fury bring down the Hydra-controlled deadly helicarriers. In 2016's Captain America: Civil War, Bucky resurfaces as the Avengers debate the Sokovia Accords. Zemo frames Bucky for the assassination of T'Challa's father. This further divides the Avengers into Team Cap and Team Iron Man as Steve refuses to give Bucky up. We learn that Bucky, while he was the Winter Soldier, killed Tony Stark's parents back in 1991. This leads to a 2-on-1 battle in Bucky's old Siberian Hydra facility, where Bucky loses his metal arm but gets away with Steve as the members of Team Cap become fugitives. And from this point forward, the Avengers are officially disbanded. Now, technically, the events of 2021's Black Widow film take place right after Civil War in 2016, but the backstory of that movie starts back in Ohio, where Natasha Romanoff grew up with an adopted sister of Yelena Belova in a suburb as a family of Russian spies, with Alexei Shostakov, David Harbour, and Melina Vostokov, Rachel Weisz. The family is exposed, and they escape to Cuba, where they rejoin Dreykov, as Natasha and Yelena are placed in Dreykov's Red Room program that trains young Russian girls into deadly assassins. Now, the 2015 Avengers: Age of Ultron film hinted at Natasha's past in the Red Room, where traumatic flashbacks triggered by Wanda Maximoff revealed that these girls went through various trials that required them to murder and then were tortured and even given forced hysterectomies. So the Black Widow film features Natasha on the run from Thaddeus Ross after the events of Civil War, and she reunites with Yelena Belova. Pursuing them is the mysterious Taskmaster with Terminator-esque programming to match all combat moves. They free Alexei from Russian prison, and we learn that before Alexei was a spy living discreetly in Ohio, he was the Red Guardian. Guardian, a Soviet propaganda counterpart to the American Captain America, and that Red Guardian peaked in the 80s. They reunite with Melina, and Alexei gets his old suit back. The film includes some emotional moments from Yelena as she admits that this Ohio family, even though it wasn't the family she was born into, was the only family she's ever had, and her sisterhood with Natasha remains sacred to her. The family finds the Red Room, revealed to be a floating base in the sky. Taskmaster is revealed to be Dreykov's daughter, Antonia Dreykov, the Dreykov's daughter whom Loki taunted Natasha about in the 2012 Avengers film.
Can you wipe out that much red? Dreykov's daughter?
Referring to a past mission in Budapest when Natasha attacked Dreykov by bombing his home, thinking he was dead, and thinking Antonia died too, but Natasha realizes Dreykov is still alive and still running the Red Room, and Antonia is the person behind the Taskmaster mask. Natasha uses an antidote to liberate the other Black Widow agents from their mind control, including Antonia, as the Red Room crashes. The movie's post-credit scene shows Yelena at Natasha's grave in the present day after Natasha had died in Avengers Endgame. Yelena now works as an assassin for Val, given the new target of Clint Barton, whom Yelena believes is responsible for Natasha's death. So here we need to jump back over to the Avengers timeline. In 2018's Avengers Infinity War, Thanos' forces attack Earth seeking the Infinity Stones, and the Avengers rejoin Bucky in Wakanda, where we see he has a new black vibranium arm. Thanos gets all the stones, snaps, and half of all life dusts away, including Bucky, and we will later see in the Hawkeye series, including Yelena Belova. Occurring simultaneously with the events of Infinity War are the events of 2018's Ant-Man and the Wasp, which introduces us to Ava Starr, aka Ghost. Ava was the daughter of former S.H.I.E.L.D. scientist Elias Starr, who built his own quantum tunnel that exploded, killing him and blasting young Ava with quantum energy that caused her body to phase through surfaces chaotically. Ava was taken in by S.H.I.E.L.D. and Bill Foster, given a suit for her powers and trained as a S.H.I.E.L.D. operative. But in the years after S.H.I.E.L.D. collapsed, Foster took Ava in and had to keep her in a chamber in his home to keep her body from basically dissipating. Foster and Ava tried to steal Hank Pym's shrunken down lab during the events of this movie, hoping to use the quantum energy from the tunnel to heal Ava, and when Scott, Hank, and Hope successfully free Janet Van Dyne from the quantum realm, Janet uses her quantum healing energy to heal Ava's condition, and Ava and Bill Foster go on the run. That's the last time we've seen them. In 2019's Avengers Endgame, the Avengers stage the time heist, which takes Natasha's life, and they use the stones to snap everyone back to reality, which includes Sam Wilson, who's the first returning Avenger that Steve hears.
On your left.
And it means Bucky comes back. This movie ends with old Steve handing over his shield to Sam Wilson with Bucky's blessing. And this takes us to our first Disney Plus series on this watch list, 2021's The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Bucky, now going through some therapy to try to make peace with the people he hurt as a Winter Soldier, ends up teaming up with Sam Wilson to face a group called the Flag Smashers, post-blip militants who stole and juiced up with super soldier serum. Bucky is still in touch with the Wakandans, and we learn that the Dora Milaje had helped him psychologically heal from his Winter Soldier activation words. Bucky and Sam are forced to work with the government's new Captain America, John Walker, and his buddy Lamar Hoskins. John takes the super soldier serum and is a bit aggressive in his pursuit of the Flag Smashers, especially when one of the Flag Smashers kills Lamar and John loses it and violently kills the Flag Smasher with the Captain America shield. And this gets John dishonorably discharged, and he and his wife Olivia are approached by Val to give John a dark new tactical suit and to work for her. But John had rejoined Bucky and Sam to defeat the Flag Smashers, and Sam officially becomes the new Captain America. I want to remind you for a second of one of the great underappreciated characters of the MCU, Ralph Boner.
Boner.
Remember how happy we were when Ralph Boner showed up in WandaVision, and how happy we all were to see that Boner again in Agatha All Along?
It's witch repelling.
If one Boner can get that much joy to an entire fan base, imagine what a steady supply of Boners will do for...
This feels like, yeah. I hate ads. They get on my nerves.
In the 2021 Hawkeye series, Clint Barton spends his Christmas holiday in New York, mentoring Kate Bishop and dealing with his old foes from the time he spent as a Ronin assassin during the blip. In this series, we learn that someone has bought Avengers Tower, but they don't say who. Yelena Belova catches up to Clint and tries to kill him in what becomes a four-way rooftop brawl among Clint, Yelena, Kate Bishop, and Maya Lopez, Echo. Yelena spends the series confronting Kate Bishop and helping Kate realize that the person who commissioned the hit on Clint was Kate's mother, Eleanor Bishop, who works for Wilson Fisk. Yes, Yelena Belova's text brought Kingpin back into the MCU. Yelena comes close to killing Clint in the 30 Rock battle, but Clint does the special whistle that we saw Natasha and Yelena doing as kids in Ohio, so Yelena realizes that Natasha and Clint had a special found sibling bond, and she walks away. In 2022's Black Panther Wakanda Forever, we learn that Val is actually the CIA director of the MCU, and she's eager to get her hands on Wakandan vibranium. And this title is only worth bringing up for one reason, really, but 2022's Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday special on Disney Plus shows Nebula giving as a Christmas gift to Rocket Bucky's vibranium arm, a callback to Rocket wanting to steal that vibranium arm in Avengers Infinity War. It's not really clear how Nebula got it or how Bucky has it back now in Thunderbolts, but he does have it back. In 2025's Captain America Brave New World, President Thaddeus Ross, now played by Harrison Ford, asks Sam Wilson to rebuild the Avengers as Ross is trying to forge a global treaty over the use of adamantium. We are now in the MCU calendar year of 2027. That's the present date of the MCU now. Bucky cameos in this film as we learn that he had recently been elected congressman to the US House of Representatives. President Ross gets targeted by returning Hulk villain Samuel Stearns, manipulating Ross into becoming the Red Hulk, whom Sam manages to calm down. Ross goes to prison on the raft, and Sam and Joaquin Torres face the prospect of rebuilding the Avengers. And recently in 2025 was Daredevil Born Again Season 1, which ended with Mayor Wilson Fisk using an assassination attempt to justify a citywide curfew on New York City and running the city as his own police state with his evil anti-vigilante task force. Meanwhile, Daredevil works on building his own vigilante army to try to take back the city in Season 2. I really just mentioned this title because we know part of Thunderbolts will be set in New York City, so it's just worth knowing the current status quo of the city. Specifically, we know from trailers that Avengers Tower is coming back in this movie. Val and her organization is who bought this tower, and they are turning it into what will become Sentry's Watchtower from the comics. Another potentially relevant title to consider is What If Season 3, Episode 3, What If the Red Guardian Stopped the Winter Soldier? This story is set in an alternate universe where, in 1991, Alexei Shostakov stopped Bucky from killing Tony Stark's parents, which then lead the two on a road trip out west to find the person Hydra was working with, codenamed the Rook, which turned out to be Obadiah Stane. It's not MCU canon, but the bro vibes between Bucky and Alexei are on full display here. So, to recap who everyone is in this movie and what's going on with them, Yelena Belova is still working for Val, who, in addition to being the CIA director, has some other connection to an organization called OXE, or the Ox Group. Bucky Barnes is now a congressman representing a district in Brooklyn. Alexei Shostakov, based on trailers for this movie, seems to be slumming it as a driver for the Red Guardian limo service, but in some ways living his best life. John Walker is also working for Val. Ava Starr is now in control of her ghost phasing powers and seems to be an independent operator. Taskmaster is a liberated widow agent with a bit of a history with Yelena. And we're left with Bob, played by Louis Pullman in this movie. Bob Reynolds in the comics is a character with some mental health issues and huge memory blackouts who realizes that he is a super-powered super soldier and shares a link with a cosmic entity known as the Void that in some comic interpretations have said might just be a manifestation of his own dark thoughts. We also know that an asterisk comes at the end of this word in the movie's title that probably suggests that by the end of this movie, the group will be renamed into some other Avengers-related name. The Thunderbolts of this movie are not based on Thunderbolt Ross, and they seem to only have the loosest of connections to the group of Thunderbolts that was originally run by Baron Zemo in the comics. But there have been various lineups of the Thunderbolts throughout the decades of Marvel Comics, including one that this movie seems to be more based on during the Dark Reign era. But instead of Norman Osborn running the team, they seem to have CIA Director Val running the team. And beyond that, you really just need to know that next on the MCU release schedule is Fantastic Four First Steps, a movie set in an alternate universe and looking more and more like a disaster movie with every trailer. And we know the Thunderbolts of this movie will return with the Fantastic Four in Avengers Doomsday next year as multiple Marvel universes collide. Lastly, if you have the time, I suggest you look into the filmography of the talented crew who made this movie: director Jake Schreier, co-writer Joanna Callow, and editor Harry Yoon, three people who before this worked on the Netflix series Beef, which is thematically resonant to what this Thunderbolts movie seems to be trying to do, based on some really fun marketing for the movie, including an A24 themed trailer calling it Absolute Cinema. And part of this fun marketing included Marvel sending a Red Guardian limo driver to our studio to interrupt an earlier shoot of this video.
Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Eric Voss, and with the release of Marvel Studios' Thunderbolts, we just got a big clue from the director of the film on how this might connect to Avengers Doomsday. These are the names that we know will be in this movie: John Walker, U.S. Agent Wyatt Russell. Hi there. Sorry to interrupt here. Okay, hi.
Special delivery for New Rockstars.
Okay, thank you. Wow.
Please open the package, scan the QR code, call the number.
Right now? Okay, didn't get an answer. Red Guardian.
For the glory.
What? Thank you, mysterious driver.
Go Thunderbolts!
Woo! Okay. Yes, go. Go, Thunderbolts, go. All right, let's follow the nice man's instructions and scan the QR code. It's a YouTube video.
Friends, it is Red Guardian here. Yes, my powerful two-car fleet is at your service, protecting you from boring evening. I do business trips. I do school pickups, fancy funerals, and
Fancy funerals.
regular funerals. Listen to what my friends have to say about Red Guardian limo service.
Limo service at Red Guardian, we'll take you anywhere.
Oh, that's nice. Every paid ride.
This is booming in the shot.
Selfie with world famous Red Guardian.
Hey, his set kind of looks like ours.
Selfie. What are you waiting for? You're basically robbing me. I close my eyes, you take my money. Run! Remember, I can do this all night.
All night.
Call
I can do this all
1833
night.
Red Limo. That's a 0, not an O.
Call now.
For the glory. All right, so this is a goofy promo video that they have for Thunderbolts. Call the number? He also said call the number?
Hello, it is I, Red Guardian. Thank you so much for calling Red Guardian Limo Service. Our powerful two-car fleet has all the luxury for a price you can afford. Because you don't want to get taken for a ride when you get taken for a ride. Also, for a good deal, you can purchase tickets now to see Thunderbolts, only in theaters on May of the 2nd. Tell them Red Guardian sent you. It will be the same price, but they will be impressed. Get your tickets now.
But there's other crap in this box. Oh, way too many business cards. What do we think this is? Do we know? Thunderbolts? Is it bolts?
So comment down below with your thoughts, and a special thanks to one of our YouTube members, Sin City Monster, who supports us at the executive producer level. Follow me at EA Voss and subscribe to all 3 channels in the New Rockstars Network for breakdowns and news coverage of everything you love. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
Thank y'all for watching.